Ladies and gentlemen, there is a quiet power in waiting, a wisdom in stillness, a grace in trusting that life will unfold as it must. Patience is not about standing idle, but about standing firm in faith, hope, and resilience. Patience is not weakness, it is strength. It is the willingness to endure without bitterness, to trust without wavering. The strongest souls are not those who rush through life, but those who walk with steady purpose, knowing that every season has its time. We live in a world that glorifies speed, fast success, quick results, immediate gratification. But wisdom whispers to us, be still. Growth cannot be rushed. The tree that spreads its roots deep into the earth does not bloom overnight. The caterpillar does not become a butterfly in a day, and we too must embrace the process of becoming. When life tests us, when doors close, when plans fail, when the road ahead seems uncertain, patience reminds us that delay is not denial, that storms may rage, but they will pass, that the greatest things in life, love, purpose, healing, are worth waiting for. Patience is also a kindness we give ourselves. We will stumble, we will fall, but we must allow ourselves the grace to rise again, to learn, to grow, to take another step. Every mistake, every failure, every delay is a lesson shaping us into who we are meant to be. In a world that moves fast, where success is measured by how quickly we can achieve our goals, patience is often misunderstood. People mistake it for passivity, for inaction, for a lack of ambition, but true patience is none of those things. Patience is not sitting idly while the world moves past you. It is not surrendering to circumstances without effort. It is not weakness. It is strength in its most profound form. Patience is the ability to stand firm in the face of delay, disappointment, and difficulty. It is the quiet determination that keeps us moving forward, even when progress feels invisible. It is having the courage to trust the process, to believe that the seeds we plant today will bear fruit in due time. Strength is often seen in displays of power, in quick reactions, in taking immediate control. But real strength is measured in endurance. It is found in the one who holds their ground, even when everything inside them is screaming to give up. It is found in the person who continues to dream, to work, to believe, despite setbacks and failures. Think of the river carving through the rock. It does not do so through force, but through patience. Day by day, drop by drop, shaping its path with unwavering persistence. Think of the mighty oak tree. It does not sprout overnight, but grows steadily, its roots deepening, its branches reaching skyward, weathering storms without breaking. Patience requires discipline. It takes discipline to hold on when things are uncertain, to resist the urge to rush into decisions out of fear or frustration. It takes wisdom to recognize that some things take time. Healing, love, success, understanding. It takes faith to believe that even when we cannot see the results, our efforts are not in vain. Patience is the strength to endure what we cannot control. It is the ability to walk through the storm without losing hope. It is knowing that even when life does not unfold according to our timeline, it is still unfolding exactly as it should. And so let us not confuse impatience with strength. It is not the loudest voice in the room that is the strongest, but the one that listens. It is not the person who rushes to react, but the one who takes time to understand. It is not the one who demands instant results, but the one who works diligently, knowing that great things are built over time. Patience is not weakness, it is power, it is wisdom, it is resilience. And those who master it will find themselves standing strong long after the storm has passed. In a world that moves at the speed of light, where noise is constant and distractions are endless, stillness is often overlooked. We are taught that action is everything, that to be successful we must always be moving, always doing, always pushing forward. But there is a power, a deep and undeniable strength in stillness. Stillness is not emptiness, it is not idleness, it is not stagnation. It is a quiet force, a steady presence, a place where wisdom is found and strength is renewed. It is in stillness that we hear the whispers of truth, that we find clarity in confusion, that we connect with our deepest selves. The world rushes us. It tells us we must always be ahead, always planning the next step, always chasing something just beyond our reach. But in our constant movement, we often lose sight of where we are. We become so focused on the destination that we forget to be present in the journey. Stillness teaches us to listen, to pause, to reflect. In the silence, we can hear what we have been too busy to notice, the quiet pull of our intuition, the lessons hidden in our experiences, the truths we have ignored in the chaos of daily life. Some of the greatest insights, the most profound realizations, do not come from running after them, but from allowing them the space to emerge. We often think of strength as loud, as forceful, as something seen and felt. But true strength is often silent. It is the ability to remain calm in the face of turmoil. It is the power to hold steady when everything around us is shaking. It is a quiet resolve that refuses to be broken. A mountain does not fight the wind. It stands firm and lets the storm pass. The ocean does not resist the tides. It flows with them, knowing that stillness will return. Likewise, we do not need to meet every challenge with immediate reaction or frantic action. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is be still, observe, breathe, and trust that we will know when the time is right to move. Stillness is also a place of healing. When we are constantly in motion, we do not give ourselves the chance to process, to rest, to recover. Just as the body needs sleep to heal, the mind and soul need stillness to reset. In stillness, we learn patience with ourselves. We learn that it is okay not to have all the answers immediately. We learn to accept the unknown, to sit with discomfort, to let emotions rise and fall without being overwhelmed by them. Stillness allows us to meet ourselves where we are with kindness and understanding. Finding stillness does not mean we abandon action altogether. It means we learn to balance movement with rest, speaking with listening, doing with being. It means carving out moments in our day to step away from the rush, to breathe deeply, to sit quietly, to appreciate the world around us, without feeling the adversity as the certainty of life. No matter how carefully we plan, how hard we work, or how much we try to control our path, challenges will come. There will be moments when life does not go as expected, when the road ahead is filled with obstacles, when doors close despite our best efforts. It is in these moments that patience is tested, and it is in these moments that patience becomes our greatest strength. Patience in adversity is not simply about waiting. It is about enduring with faith, about holding on when everything in us wants to give up. It is about trusting that even the hardest seasons serve a purpose, that struggles refine us rather than define us, and that even when we cannot see the way forward, we are still moving toward something greater. Life's most difficult moments often hold the most profound lessons. Hardship forces us to look within, to reevaluate our priorities, to discover strengths we never knew we had. When everything is easy, we rarely grow. It is in struggle that we develop resilience, in difficulty that we learn perseverance, and in darkness that we learn to find our own light. Yet, when adversity strikes, our first instinct is often to resist, to fight, to demand that our situation change immediately. We want solutions now, relief now, answers now. But patience teaches us that growth takes time, that healing cannot be rushed, that every season of hardship is shaping us in ways we may not yet understand. One of the hardest things to do in adversity is to keep believing when nothing seems to change, when doors remain closed, when progress feels invisible, when prayers go unanswered. It is easy to feel defeated, but patience reminds us that delay is not denial, that just because something is not happening now does not mean it will never happen. Think of the seed planted in the earth. It does not sprout the moment it is buried. Days, weeks, sometimes even months pass before any sign of life appears. But beneath the surface, in the unseen places, transformation is taking place. The roots are growing, the foundation is strengthening, and in time, what was once hidden will break through. The same is true for us. Just because we cannot see the progress does not mean it is not happening. Just because life feels stagnant does not mean we are not growing. Patience in adversity means trusting that even in silence, even in waiting, even in struggle, something is being prepared for us. Patience is endurance. It is waking up each day and choosing to keep going, even when everything inside us wants to quit. It is refusing to let hardship harden our hearts, to let disappointment make us bitter, to let obstacles steal our hope. True strength is not found in how quickly we overcome adversity, but in how we carry ourselves through it. Do we let it break us, or do we let it build us? Do we allow it to fill us with anger and resentment, or do we use it as an opportunity to grow? History is full of stories of those who faced unimaginable adversity but refused to give up. They were not the fastest, not the strongest, not the most privileged. They were simply the ones who endured, who refused to let hardship be the end of their story, who understood that patience is not passive, is power. When we face trials, we often ask, why is this happening to me? But perhaps a better question is, what is this teaching me? Patience in adversity means shifting our perspective, not seeing hardship as punishment, but as preparation. The challenges we face today may be equipping us for something greater tomorrow. The delays we endure may be protecting us from something we are not yet ready for. The struggles we face may be strengthening us in ways we cannot yet comprehend. So when adversity comes, and it will, let us meet it with patience. Let us trust that no storm lasts forever, that no winter remains without spring, that no hardship is without purpose. Let us hold on, stand firm, and believe that even in the waiting, even in the struggle, something good is on its way. Because patience in adversity is not about merely surviving. It is about emerging stronger, wiser, and ready for the life that awaits on the other side. Time is one of life's greatest instructors. It moves at its own pace, never rushing, never slowing down, always flowing forward. It teaches us in ways that no book, no lecture, no single experience ever could. It shapes us through lessons of patience, resilience, and understanding. If we listen, if we embrace its wisdom, time becomes not just something we pass through, but a guide that helps us grow into the people we are meant to be. There are things we simply cannot understand until we have lived through them. No amount of explanation can fully prepare us for the weight of loss, the joy of love, the depth of pain, or the strength we find in overcoming challenges. Time does not just heal, it reveals. It reveals who we are, what matters most, and what we are capable of. Think back to a moment in your life when you were certain you would never get through a hardship, when the pain felt endless, when the disappointment felt but time carried you forward as it always does, and one day you realized that the pain had lessened, that you had survived, that you had grown. Time teaches us that nothing is permanent, neither joy nor sorrow, success nor failure. Everything changes, and in that change we find transformation. One of the most powerful lessons time teaches us is patience. We live in a world that demands instant results, quick success, immediate answers, overnight transformation. But time does not work that way. It unfolds at its own rhythm, reminding us that the most meaningful things in life, love, wisdom, healing, purpose, cannot be rushed. A seed does not become a tree overnight. A masterpiece is not created in a day. The strongest relationships, the deepest understanding, the greatest achievements all require time. And when we learn to trust in the process, to let go of the need for immediate answers, we find peace. Time also gives us perspective. What once seemed like the end of the world becomes a mere chapter in our story. The mistakes we once agonized over become lessons that shaped us. The people we once thought we could never live without become distant memories, and new connections take their place. Time reminds us that what feels urgent today may not even matter tomorrow. It is often said that time heals all wounds. While time alone does not erase pain, it does soften the edges of our grief. It gives us space to process, to reflect, to rebuild. Healing is not a straight path. It is a journey with setbacks, moments of deep sorrow, and unexpected breakthroughs. But as time passes, we learn to carry our losses differently. They do not disappear, but they no longer weigh us down in the same way. Heartbreak, failure, loss, all these things feel unbearable in the moment. But with time, we gain understanding. We see that every heartbreak made room for something new. Every failure redirected us towards something better. Every loss taught us to cherish what remains. Time does not just pass, it transforms. Who we were 5 years ago is not who we are today, and who we are today is not who we will be 5 years from now. Growth is a continuous process shaped by our experiences, our struggles, and our moments of joy. Think of the person you used to be, the things that once upset you, the dreams you once had, the lessons you had not yet learned. With time, you have grown wiser, stronger, more understanding, and as time continues, you will continue to evolve. The greatest mistake we can make is to resist time, to wish we could rush through difficult seasons, to dwell on the past, to fear the future. Instead, we must embrace it. We must trust that every experience, good or bad, is shaping us. We must have faith that even when we do not understand why things are happening, time will reveal the answers. Time is always moving, always teaching. The question is, are we paying attention? Are we allowing ourselves to learn from our past, to grow from our mistakes, to appreciate the present moment? Are we embracing patience, trusting that what is meant for us will come in its time? Are we letting go of things that no longer serve us, understanding that every ending makes way for a new beginning? Time is not our enemy, it is our teacher. It teaches us resilience, it teaches us wisdom, it teaches us gratitude. And if we are willing to learn, it will guide us exactly where we need to be. So let us trust the journey. Let us be patient. Let us listen to the lessons time is teaching us, because in the end, time will shape us into the people we were always meant to become. Of all the patience we practice in life, waiting for opportunities, enduring hardships, or understanding others, perhaps the most challenging and most important is the patience we have with ourselves. We live in a world that expects immediate results. We compare our progress to those around us, feeling as if we are always behind. We grow frustrated with our mistakes, disappointed in our failures, and restless when we do not see the growth we desire. But real change, real transformation, real success, it all takes time. And we must learn to give ourselves the same grace we so readily offer to others. From a young age, we are taught to strive for success, to be the best, to achieve more, do more, and prove our worth through accomplishments. But what happens when we fall short? When we make mistakes? When we do not meet our own expectations? Too often, we are our own worst critics. We replay our failures over and over in our minds, holding on to past mistakes as if they define us. We tell ourselves we should be further along, that we should have figured things out by now, that we should be better, stronger, wiser. But growth is not a straight path. It is full of detours, setbacks, and lessons that can only be learned through experience. Perfection is an illusion. No one moves through life without making mistakes, without stumbling, without moments of doubt. The key is not to avoid failure, but to learn from it, and that requires patience, the willingness to accept where we are today while believing in the progress we are making, even when we cannot see it yet. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It must first push through the soil, stretching toward the sun, its roots growing deeper, long before its branches reach the sky. The same is true for us. Growth happens beneath the surface, in the quiet moments, in the lessons we do not even realize we are learning. Think of the times in your life when you have struggled, when you have felt stuck, when progress seemed impossible, and yet, looking back, you can see how much you have changed, how the things that once hurt so deeply no longer have power over you, how the situations you once thought you would never overcome are now distant memories. Time has shaped you, experience has taught you, and every moment, good, but becoming takes time and patience. We must stop expecting ourselves to have all the answers immediately. We must allow ourselves to grow at our own pace, to embrace the journey rather than rush to the destination. One of the hardest parts of being patient with ourselves is accepting our mistakes. We are so quick to judge ourselves, to label our failures as proof that we are not good enough, not capable enough. But mistakes are not evidence of our inadequacy. They are stepping stones to growth. Every misstep teaches us something. Every wrong turn leads us closer to the right one. The most successful, wise, and resilient people are not those who never failed, but those who failed and kept going. Those who learned, adjusted, and continued forward with newfound wisdom. So, when you stumble, do not let shame take over. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? And most importantly, give yourself the same compassion you would give a friend. You would not tell someone you love that they are a failure for making a mistake. So why do we say it to ourselves? We all have a vision of where we want to be, who we want to become, what we want to accomplish, but too often we compare our journey to others and feel as though we are falling behind. We look at people who have achieved success and wonder why we are not there yet. We measure ourselves against unrealistic expectations and forget that each of us has our own unique paths. Patience with ourselves means trusting that we are exactly where we need to be right now. It means understanding that just because something is not happening on our timeline does not mean it is not happening at all. Some things take longer than we expect. Healing, learning, building confidence, discovering our purpose. But what is meant for us will come in time. Rushing the process does not lead to lasting results. It only leads to frustration. Trusting our own journey means accepting that some lessons take longer to learn, some dreams take longer to achieve, and some seasons require more time than we anticipated. Patience with ourselves is an act of self-love. It means treating ourselves with kindness, allowing room for growth, and understanding that we are human. It means letting go of the unrealistic standards we hold ourselves to and instead celebrating progress, no matter how small. So if today you feel like you are not where you want to be, if you are struggling with self-doubt, if you are frustrated with your progress, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself you are growing even when you cannot see it. You are learning even when you make mistakes. You are on your own unique path, and there is no need to rush. Be patient. Trust yourself. Give yourself grace, because every step forward, no matter how small, is still a step in the right direction. In a world filled with diverse personalities, opinions, and experiences, patience with others is one of the most valuable qualities we can develop. Relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, are built on understanding, tolerance, and respect. And at the heart of all these qualities is patience. People will test us. They will disappoint us. They will move at a different pace than we expect. They will not always say or do the right things. But just as we need patience with ourselves as we grow and learn, we must also extend that same patience to those around us. Every person we meet has their own unique background, struggles, and way of seeing the world. No two people think alike, and no two people move through life at the same speed. Sometimes we become frustrated when others do not respond as we expect, when they do not meet our standards, or when they take longer to grow or change than we would like. But patience reminds us that just as we are on our own journey, so is everyone else. The challenges someone else is facing may not be visible to us. The reasons behind their actions or behaviors may be deeply personal. When we practice patience, we give others the space to be human, to make mistakes, to learn at their own pace, and to grow without constant judgment. One of the biggest sources of frustration in relationships is miscommunication. We may assume that others should just know what we mean, that they should understand our feelings without us having to explain them, or that they should react the way we would in a situation. But communication takes effort. It requires listening, clarity, and most of all, patience. Being patient in communication means taking the time to truly hear what someone else is saying instead of rushing to respond. It means giving others a chance to explain themselves rather than jumping to conclusions. It means recognizing that people express themselves in different ways, and sometimes they may struggle to find the right words. If we want strong, meaningful relationships, we must be patient with how others communicate. We must be willing to ask questions, seek understanding, and give grace when misunderstandings arise. Disagreements are inevitable in life. We will not always see eye to eye with the people around us. Conflicts arise at home, in friendships, at work, and even in brief interactions with strangers. But how we handle these moments determines the strength of our relationships. Patience in conflict does not mean avoiding problems or allowing others to mistreat us. Rather, it means choosing not to react out of anger or frustration. It means taking a step back before responding, giving ourselves time to cool down, and considering the other person's perspective before making judgments. When we react too quickly, we often say things we do not mean, escalate situations unnecessarily, and damage relationships that could have been repaired with understanding. Patience allows us to pause, breathe, and approach conflicts with a clearer mind. It gives us the ability to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. We often expect people to change on our timeline. We want them to learn lessons quickly, to outgrow their bad habits immediately, to become who we believe they should be without delay. But growth is not instant. Think about yourself. How long has it taken you to overcome your own struggles, to unlearn unhealthy behaviors, to mature into the person you are today? Chances are it did not happen overnight, so why do we expect others to change so quickly? Patience with others means recognizing that people grow at different rates. Some lessons take longer to learn. Some changes require years, not days. If we want to see real, lasting transformation in others, we must be willing to support them through their journey, rather than demanding immediate results. The people closest to us, family, partners, best friends, are often the ones who test our patience the most. We expect them to understand us better than anyone else, and when they do not, frustration sets in. But love is built on patience. It is the willingness to stand by someone even when they are difficult, to forgive even when they frustrate us, and to choose kindness even when we feel irritated. Think of the times when others have been patient with you, when they have forgiven you for a mistake, supported you when you were struggling, or given you time to become the person you are today. We owe that same patience to the people we love. Patience is not just for major life moments. It is something we must practice daily. When a cashier is moving slower than we'd like, we can remind ourselves that they too are human and may be doing their best. When a friend or family member disappoints us, we can remember that we have disappointed people before too, and offer them grace. When someone's beliefs or opinions differ from our own, we can take a moment to listen and understand rather than judge or argue. Every day we are given opportunities to practice patience with strangers, with loved ones, with co-workers, and even with people we disagree with. The more we embrace patience, the more peaceful our relationships become. Patience is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is not patience. It is not passivity. It is a sign of strength, wisdom, and self-control. It allows us to build deeper connections, to resolve conflicts with grace, and to support the growth of the people around us. By practicing patience with others, we create a more compassionate world, one where people feel seen, heard, and valued. And in return, we receive that same patience when we need it most. So let us choose patience. Let us give others the time and space to grow. Let us approach life with understanding and grace, because in the end, the patience we show to others is the same patience we will one day need for ourselves. Patience is more than just waiting. It is a mindset, a strength, and a way of navigating life with grace and wisdom. It is the quiet power that allows us to endure challenges, to grow at our own pace, and to extend understanding to others. It teaches us that time is not our enemy, but our greatest teacher, guiding us through life seasons with lessons we can only grasp when we allow them to unfold naturally. Patience with ourselves reminds us that growth is a journey, not a race. We must embrace our progress, even when it feels slow, and trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is still movement in the right direction. Patience in adversity gives us the strength to withstand life's storms. It teaches us resilience, showing us that hardship is not a punishment, but an opportunity to develop courage, endurance, and wisdom. Patience with others fosters compassion. It reminds us that just as we struggle, so do the people around us. By choosing to be patient, we build stronger relationships, create deeper understanding, and contribute to a kinder world. Above all, patience is an act of faith. Faith that everything happens in its time, that setbacks are not failures but lessons, and that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. So let us embrace patience, not as a burden, but as a gift. Let us trust in the timing of our lives, extend grace to ourselves and others, and remember that everything meaningful, growth, healing, love, and wisdom, takes time. Because in the end, patience is not about waiting, it is about becoming.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been bruised by words that cut like knives? Have you ever been left in the cold by people who swore they'd stand beside you? I know you have, we all have, but listen here, my dear ones. Revenge is a dangerous thing. It can turn you bitter, twist your spirit, and make you carry a weight you were never meant to bear. The best revenge? Oh, it is not anger, not spite, not even proving them wrong. No, the best revenge is rising so high they can't reach you. It is shining so bright they have to shade their eyes just to look at you. Darling, there is no need for you to wrestle with pigs in the mud. They enjoy it, but you were made for grander things. You were made to stand tall, head held high, feet planted firmly on the ground of grace. When they spit venom, you breathe wisdom. When they drag your name through the dirt, you rise from it unbothered, unshaken, untouchable. Life will test you. People will test you. Some will come into your world with hands full of roses, and some will bring only thorns. Some will cheer for you, lift you, and love you with all their might, but others, oh, they will try to pull you down into the dirt just to make themselves feel taller. And in those moments when the hurt is fresh and the betrayal stings, you will have a choice. You can either fall to their level or you can rise above it. You can waste your breath shouting at the storm, or you can be the calm after it. You see, when people hurt you, they expect a reaction. They expect you to throw back the same pain they handed you. They expect you to be angry, to plot, to seethe in the shadows, to let bitterness wrap itself around your heart like an iron chain. But darling, you are not built for change. You are not made for smallness. You are meant to rise. Rising above does not mean you forget. It does not mean you pretend the wounds do not ache. No, it means you refuse to let those wounds define you. It means you refuse to be a prisoner of what they did. You are not their cruelty. You are not their betrayal. You are not their lies. You are more. When they whisper your name with malice, let your actions speak louder. When they try to pull you into the mud, stay on solid ground. When they belittle you, don't shrink, expand. You do not answer a fool with foolishness, you answer with excellence. You answer with grace. You answer with a life so full, so radiant that their darkness has no place in it. There is power in walking away with your head high. There is strength in choosing peace over war. And hear me when I say this: nothing confuses those who wish to see you broken more than seeing you whole. People who hurt you want control. They want to see if they can make you stumble, make you doubt yourself, make you question your worth. But let me tell you something. Your worth does not sit in their hands. It has never lived there, not even for a moment. When someone slams a door in your face, build a new house with doors wide open. When someone tries to dim your light, turn up the glow until they can't ignore it. When someone speaks ill of you, let your success be the only response they receive. It is easy to fight back with the same weapons they used against you, but what does that leave you with? A handful of anger, a heart weighed down with hurt, and a mind so clouded with revenge that you can't see the beauty ahead of you. That is not the life you were meant to live. You were meant to soar. There is no wisdom in lowering yourself to match the smallness of those who hurt you. There is no victory in proving them right when they called you weak. The true victory is in your rise. It is in your refusal to be pulled into the dust. It is in your choice to let their words fade into the background while you write a new story for yourself. And oh, what a story it will be. A story where you are not the victim, but the warrior. A story where pain does not make you bitter, but wiser. A story where every wound becomes a lesson, every loss becomes a redirection, and every betrayal becomes the wind that lifts you higher. So do not answer hate with hate. Do not answer pettiness with pettiness. Do not answer cruelty with cruelty. Answer with greatness. Answer with joy. Answer with a life that is so full of love, so rich with purpose, that those who hurt you become nothing more than a footnote in the chapters of your success. Because at the end of the day, the best revenge is not proving them wrong. It is becoming so right within yourself that their opinions, their actions, their words no longer have the power to touch you. And that, my dear, is how you win. There is something powerful about silence. Something undeniable about a person who does not waste their breath explaining, proving, or justifying. A person who simply rises while those who doubted them are left watching, speechless. When people hurt you, they expect to see you stumble. They expect to see you drown in the pain they cause. They expect you to break, to cry, to be swallowed by bitterness. That is what they wait for. But imagine their confusion, imagine their shock, when instead of sinking, you soar, when instead of crumbling, you build, when instead of becoming less, you become more. The best revenge is not shouting back. It is not fighting battles that were never meant for you. The best revenge is standing in your greatness so completely, so unapologetically, that their words become nothing but whispers in the wind. The best revenge is turning every ounce of pain they threw your way into fuel for your rise. Success, my dear, is not about material things. It is not about wealth or fame or proving anything to the world. True success is peace. It is knowing that you did not let their cruelty shape you. It is waking up every morning with a heart unburdened by hate. It is looking in the mirror and seeing someone who did not let darkness win. You see, when people try to break you, they are not speaking to your truth. They are speaking to their own fears. They do not doubt you because you are unworthy. They doubt you because your light unsettles them. They mock what they do not understand. They attack what they cannot control. So let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them sit in the audience while you write your story on a stage they never thought you'd stand on. Do not waste a second trying to make them see your worth. Do not waste a breath trying to convince them of who you are. That is not your job. Your job is to rise. Your job is to be so deeply committed to your growth that their opinions, their doubts, their betrayals become irrelevant. There is a certain kind of poetry in proving them wrong without ever speaking their names, in letting your success be the only response, in living so fully, so freely that their actions become nothing but a distant memory. That is the art of rising. That is the beauty of grace. That is the kind of victory they will never understand. When they laughed, you kept going. When they doubted, you kept building. When they pushed you down, you stood back up. Again and again and again. And now they are left with nothing but regret while you walk forward, untouched, unshaken, unstoppable. Because, my dear, the best revenge is not anger. It is not bitterness. It is not proving them wrong with words. It is proving them wrong with the life you create. A life that is so full of love, purpose, and joy that they are forced to sit in the shadows of their own disbelief. And that, my dear, is how you win. There is a weight that comes with pain, a heaviness that settles in the bones, wraps around the heart, and whispers, hold on to this. Remember what they did. Never forget, never forget. It tells you that carrying the wound will protect you, that holding the grudge will keep you from being hurt again. But my dear, let me tell you something. Grudges are not armor, they are chains. When people hurt you, it is easy to let that pain turn to anger. It is easy to walk around with a hardened heart, to build walls so high that no one can reach you. But what kind of life is that? A life spent locked inside the very pain they cause. That is not strength, that is not victory, that is simply letting them win. Grace, my dear, is not about letting them get away with it. It is not about pretending it never happened. It is about choosing yourself over the weight of resentment. It is about refusing to let their cruelty take one more ounce of your joy. Carrying a grudge does not punish them, it punishes you. It steals your peace, poisons your spirit, and makes you live in a past that should have no place in your future. Do not give them that power. Do not let what they did become the anchor that holds you down. When you carry grace instead of grudges, you are not saying that what they did was right. You are saying that they do not get to shape who you become. You are saying that your heart is too precious to be weighed down by bitterness. People expect you to be angry. They expect you to lash out, to seek revenge, to let hate take root in your soul. But imagine their surprise when instead of becoming hardened, you become free. When instead of closing your heart, you open it even wider. When instead of letting them steal your kindness, you refuse to let them change the goodness in you, because grace is not weakness. It is not surrender, it is strength beyond measure. It is standing in front of your pain and saying, you do not own me. It is waking up each morning without the burden of yesterday strapped to your... It is choosing peace over poison. It is choosing you. And in that choice, you win. Because the best revenge is not hate, it is healing. The best revenge is not becoming like them, it is rising beyond them. The best revenge is a heart so full, a spirit so light, and a soul so free that they can no longer touch you. And that, my dear, is how you win. There is a moment after the hurt has settled when you will stand at a crossroads. One path will tempt you with the idea of fighting back, of spending your days plotting, proving, retaliating. The other will whisper something softer but stronger. It will tell you to build. See, when people hurt you, they want a reaction. They want to see you crumble under the weight of their words, buckle beneath their betrayal. They want you to become so consumed by them that you forget yourself. And many do. Many waste years of their lives trying to even the score, trying to throw back the same pain that was handed to them. But my dear, what a waste that is. Because what if instead of battling, you built? What if instead of tearing down, you rose up? What if instead of being swallowed by their cruelty, you created something beautiful from it? That is the difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise. Those who stay stuck fight. Those who rise build. You do not have to destroy them to win. You do not have to meet them on their level, engage in their games, waste your breath trying to prove anything. No, your greatest power lies in moving forward so completely that they become nothing more than a shadow in your past. The best response to pain is progress. The best response to cruelty is creation. The best response to betrayal is building a life so full that their presence or absence makes no difference to you. Imagine them watching you, waiting for you to break, waiting for you to waste yourself on revenge. And imagine the moment they realize they have no hold on you, that you have taken every ounce of pain they tried to bury you with and used it to plant something new, something beautiful. That is the kind of power they will never understand. You see, battles drain you. They take your time, your peace, your energy, but building fills you. It gives you purpose. It lifts you higher than you ever thought possible. When you choose to build instead of battle, you shift the focus from them back to you. You take control of your story. You reclaim your future. And oh, what a future it will be. A future where you do not walk with the weight of anger on your shoulders. A future where you are not bound to the past, but free to embrace the beauty ahead. A future where the ones who tried to break you are left in the distance, watching as you build a world they can never touch. Because in the end, battles leave ashes, but building leaves legacies. And that, my dear, is how you win. There is a noise that follows pain, a clamor of whispers, of doubt, of people waiting to see if you will fall. They talk, they gossip, they wonder if you will let the weight of what they did break you. And then there is something else, something softer, but stronger. It is the sound of your laughter. It is the sound of your joy rising above all the noise they try to create. You see, when people hurt you, they expect to see you suffer. They expect you to shrink, to lose yourself, to let bitterness settle in your bones. They expect you to carry the wound forever, to walk through life burdened by what they did. But there is something they do not understand. Happiness is louder than hate. Nothing confuses those who wish you harm more than seeing you happy. Nothing unsettles them more than watching you thrive when they expected you to wither, because they wanted to be the author of your sadness. But you picked up the pen and wrote something else entirely. Happiness is not something they can take from you. It is not something they can control. It is a choice you make every single day. It is in the way you wake up and decide that their actions will not define you. It is in the way you refuse to let them rob you of another moment of peace. It is in the way you laugh, loud, free, unburdened. Do not let their cruelty change you. Do not let their bitterness seep into your spirit. They may have tried to wound you, but they do not get to shape your future. That power belongs to you. And when you choose happiness, when you choose joy despite it all, you win. They wanted you angry. They wanted you broken. But here you are, standing tall, smiling, thriving. Here you are, proving that no amount of hate can silence the sound of a heart that has chosen to heal. Pain changes people. It has a way of creeping into the soul, settling in the corners of the heart, whispering, be careful. Don't trust. Don't love. Don't let them in again. It tells you that the best way to protect yourself is to harden, to build walls so high that no one can ever touch you again. But my dear, let me tell you something. Healing does not mean turning to stone. When people hurt you, it is tempting to close yourself off, to become cold so no one else can get close enough to wound you again. But what kind of life is that? A life spent locked behind walls, safe but lonely? A life where you are untouched by pain, but also untouched by love, by joy, by connection? That is not healing. That is just another way of being trapped. True healing is not about becoming unbreakable. It is about becoming whole again. It is about learning to trust not because you are naive, but because you refuse to let past pain steal future joy. It is about opening your heart not because you forget what happened, but because you choose not to let it define the rest of your life. You see, the people who hurt you, whether they meant to or not, left something behind. A scar, a lesson, a memory. And you have a choice. You can let that scar harden you, make you bitter, make you fearful, or you can let it be a reminder of how far you've come, of how strong you are, of how much more there is ahead. Because healing does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending the pain never existed. It means standing in the mirror, looking at every wound, every betrayal, every moment of heartbreak and saying, "You do not own me anymore." It means letting go, not for them, but for yourself. It means giving yourself permission to feel again, to love again, to live fully without fear. People will tell you to toughen up, to never let anyone hurt you again, but strength is not in shutting down. Strength is in staying open. Strength is in letting yourself feel, in allowing yourself to trust, in knowing that yes, you may get hurt again, but you will also experience beauty beyond measure. You were not meant to go through life carrying the weight of every wound. You were meant to rise, to soften, to bloom despite it all. Do not let the actions of a few turn your heart into something it was never meant to be. Heal, but do not harden. Learn, but do not close yourself off. Love, even after the pain. There comes a time when you must decide, will you keep looking back or will you step forward into the life waiting for you? Because the truth is, no matter how deep the wound, no matter how sharp the betrayal, life does not stop. It moves, it flows, it carries on, and it calls for you to do the same. When people hurt you, it is easy to stay in that place, to replay the pain over and over, to let their actions define your days. But what do you gain from that? What do you build in the ruins of resentment? Nothing. Nothing but wasted time, wasted breath, wasted moments that could have been spent becoming, growing, living. You cannot rewrite the past. You cannot make them undo what they did, but you can decide that they will not shape your future. You can decide that their choices will not be the anchor that holds you back, because your life is bigger than the pain they caused. Your purpose is greater than their betrayal. Your journey does not stop at the hands of those who tried to break you, so let go. Not for them, never for them, but for you. Let go so that your hands are free to hold something better. Let go so that your heart has space for joy, for love, for all the things that deserve to be there. Let go because dragging the weight of yesterday into tomorrow will only exhaust you, not empower you. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It is not about saying what they did was okay. It is about refusing to be shackled to it any longer. It is about setting yourself free from the prison of what should have been and stepping into what can still be. Because when you hold on to pain, you live in a past that no longer exists. But when you let go, you step into a future that is waiting for you, a future that is yours to shape, to fill, to embrace, without the shadows of yesterday clinging to your heels. You were meant for more than pain. You were meant for more than bitterness. You were meant for more than being stuck in a story that has already ended. So turn the page, walk forward, live fully without carrying their mistakes on your back. Because the best revenge is not holding on, it is moving on. It is becoming so free, so light, so at peace, that their actions become nothing more than a distant echo in a life too full to hear it. And that, my dear, is how you win. There will always be people who try to dim your light, who throw stones at your path, who test the strength of your spirit. But remember this, you are not their victim. You are not bound to their words, their doubts, or their cruelty. You are bigger than their betrayal, stronger than their bitterness, and wiser than their intention. The best revenge is not in anger, not in proving them wrong with words, not in wasting your energy on battles that do not serve you. The best revenge is in rising so high that their actions become powerless, rising so free that their presence fades into irrelevance, rising so fully into your purpose that nothing they did can shake you. Choose to let go. Choose to build. Choose joy over resentment, peace over poison, growth over grudges. Choose to walk forward without the weight of the past on your shoulders. Choose yourself again and again and again, because in the end, the ones who hurt you will have to watch as you thrive, as you shine, as you live the life they never thought you could. And by then, their opinions won't matter, their actions won't sting, their presence won't hold any power over you. That, my dear, is victory. That is freedom. That is how you win. Good luck on your journey, and may your future be filled with nothing but light, love, and limitless possibilities. Thank you. There is a place deep inside each of us where the storm cannot reach. It is not loud. It is not boastful. It is not afraid. It is the place of the calm warrior, the one who rises before dawn not to make noise, but to make peace. The one who does not break under pressure, but bends like the willow, firm in root and free in spirit. You see, when stress comes knocking, and it surely does not always come with a roar. Sometimes it whispers through deadlines. Sometimes it stings through silence. Sometimes it sits heavy in the chest like a secret too painful to share. But the calm warrior does not rush to battle. The calm warrior listens, breathes, chooses, moves with intention. True strength is not in how loud you roar, but in how calmly you rise when everything around you trembles. In this world that often rewards noise and reaction, it takes something far greater to be still. When the pressure mounts and the noise grows deafening, when expectations pull you in every direction and the weight feels unbearable, the loudest voice is not always the strongest. Real power does not always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers in the form of grace. Sometimes it simply stands tall, saying nothing but meaning everything. There will be days when the world tests your balance, when people misunderstand your silence as weakness, when chaos around you tempts you to scream, to shout, to lose yourself just to feel heard. But the calm warrior knows better. The calm warrior understands that rising does not always mean fighting. Sometimes it means pausing. It means breathing. It means standing in the fire with steady eyes and an unshaken heart. Because anyone can roar when the moment breaks them, but only the steady rise, only the patient endure, only the calm survive without losing their soul in the process. Strength is not the absence of fear or frustration. It is not pretending that the stress is not real. It is knowing exactly what you feel and choosing still to carry it with honor. The calm warrior does not deny their burden. They carry it with intention. They walk through their storms not because they are unafraid, but because they have decided their peace is worth more than a moment's reaction. They have trained themselves not to be pulled into every battle, not to let every challenge steal their focus, not to let every voice shake their truth. And that calm, that steady dignity is not weakness. It is courage in its finest form. It is saying, I know who I am, and I do not need to shout to prove it. I do not need to win every argument to feel strong. I do not need to let the world turn me bitter just to show I can handle the weight. Because the calm warrior's victory is not in overpowering others. It is in mastering themselves, in choosing peace over panic, purpose over pressure, stillness over noise. So when the world trembles and everything seems uncertain, be the one who rises, not in rage, but in resolve. Be the one whose silence speaks louder than screams. Let your calm be your courage and your dignity be your direction. You are not here to fall apart with the world. You are here to rise in it, steady, sure, and unshaken. The calm warrior chooses response over reaction, guarding peace like a sacred flame. In a world that often moves too fast and speaks too loud, reacting has become second nature. The smallest slight, the unexpected news, the pressure of deadlines or unspoken expectations can trigger a wave of impulsive emotion. But to respond, to truly pause, reflect, and then move with clarity, that is an act of strength wrapped in wisdom. The calm warrior does not give every situation the power to rattle them. They have learned that their peace is precious and they protect it like something holy. Reaction is easy. It is instant. It comes from fear or anger or hurt. It demands nothing but surrender to the moment. But response, that comes from discipline. It requires you to hold still when your instincts want to rush, to be quiet when your ego wants to speak, to take a breath when everything inside you wants to burst. The calm warrior knows that not every moment deserves their energy. Not every battle is worth the fight. Not every emotion needs to become action. They understand that peace is not found in the absence of struggle, but in how you move through it. And so they carry themselves with a quiet control, not because they do not feel deeply, but because they choose not to let those feelings decide everything. They respond with grace not because they are unbothered, but because they have chosen what truly matters. They know what it costs to lose peace, and they are not willing to give it up for every storm that passes. To guard your peace means to know yourself, to know when to speak and when to stay silent, to know when to walk away and when to hold your ground. It means recognizing that your power is not in your reaction, but in your restraint. That you are not here to be pulled into every noise around you. You are here to move with meaning, to act with purpose, to live with your inner calm intact. The calm warrior does not seek to control the world. They seek to master themselves within it. And this mastery is not loud. It does not shout its way through struggle. It simply walks through with a steady breath and a focused heart. They protect their peace because it is the compass that guides every step. It is the place where clarity is born and direction becomes possible. So when stress rises and the temptation to react grows strong, remember the sacredness of your peace. Let your calm guide you. Let your response come from strength, not fear. Let your silence be filled with understanding and your action be born from wisdom. This is how the calm warrior moves, not to impress, not to overpower, but to remain rooted in dignity and led by direction. Dignity is not lost in chaos unless you hand it away. Hold it close even when storms rage. The calm warrior understands this truth and lives by it. Life will bring moments that challenge your grace. People will test your patience. Circumstances will strain your limits, and pain will try to speak louder than your purpose. But no matter how loud the world gets, you do not have to give away what keeps you grounded. You do not have to surrender the quiet honor that lives within you. There are times when chaos seems like the only language spoken, moments when everything feels rushed, broken, and uncertain. In these moments, the easiest thing to do is to match the noise, to mirror the anger, to shout back, to throw your dignity into the fire just to feel like you're not alone in the heat. But the calm warrior chooses differently. They hold themselves steady, not because the world is fair, but because they refuse to let the world define them. They protect their dignity like a fragile flame in a wild wind, shielding it with wisdom, with breath, with silence when necessary. You see, dignity is not about pride or ego. It is not about appearing perfect or untouchable. It is about choosing who you are, even when everything tries to make you forget. It is the quiet decision to stay rooted in your values, even when you are shaken. It is not pretending you are unaffected. It is knowing you are affected and still choosing to carry yourself with grace. And this grace is powerful. It shifts the energy in a room. It calms the waves inside you. It reminds others, and more importantly, reminds you that you are not your pain, your pressure, or your panic. You are something deeper. You are someone with the strength to rise without stepping on others. You are someone with the wisdom to walk away without needing to prove a point. You are someone who knows that dignity is not taken, it is given. and only you decide who gets to have it. So when the storm comes, and it will, when voices rise and confusion swirls around you, return to that space inside where your dignity lives. Touch it like a sacred promise. Let it steady your words, your tone, your actions. You do not need to win every argument. You do not need to be right to be respected. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay calm, stay kind, and keep walking forward with your peace still in your hand. Because the calm warrior is not led by chaos. The calm warrior carries dignity like armor, silent, invisible, but unbreakable. And in doing so, they do not just survive the storm. They walk through it with their head held high and their soul still whole. Direction is born in stillness, the quiet decision to move forward with purpose, not panic. The calm warrior knows this well. When everything feels uncertain and the noise grows too loud to think, the natural impulse is to rush, to fix something, anything, to move, even without knowing where you're going. But movement without meaning is just motion. It exhausts the spirit without feeding the soul. That is why the calm warrior waits. Not in fear, not in hesitation, but in wisdom. They allow the stillness to settle the dust before choosing their next step. There is something sacred about pausing in a world that praises hurry. The calm warrior understands that silence is not wasted time, it is preparation. It is where questions find their answers and strength regathers itself. It is where clarity speaks, not through shouting, but through gentle whispers. While others may sprint in circles, the calm warrior stays grounded. They ask, what matters now? What is mine to carry? What can I let go? These questions do not arise from panic, they rise from presence. They rise from the quiet strength of someone who refuses to be driven by fear. When stress builds, many choose direction based on pressure. They move because they feel they must, not because they know they should. But the calm warrior chooses differently. They let the storm pass through them, not overtake them. They do not allow urgency to cloud their judgment. They find stillness not just in the absence of chaos, but within it. And from that stillness, they choose with heart, with care, with intention. This direction is not always grand. It might not look like a leap. It might be a small step, a quiet boundary, a whispered no, or a gentle shift in thought. But it is powerful because it is chosen, not forced. It is aligned with who they are, not what the world expects. The calm warrior does not follow noise, they follow truth. And truth is found in the quiet. There is dignity in stillness. There is power in choosing your pace. The world may not understand it. It may mistake it for weakness or confusion. But the calm warrior is not moved by misunderstanding. They trust the path that rises from peace. They walk it not because it is easy, but because it is right. They know that when your steps are rooted in clarity, even the smallest movement carries meaning. So when the world demands you to rush, when stress tells you there's no time to think, remember the calm warrior's truth. That direction, real direction, does not come from panic. It comes from stillness. It comes from trust. And it carries you forward with your peace still intact. Grace under pressure is not weakness. It is wisdom dressed in silence and anchored in strength. The calm warrior knows that when life becomes heavy and the pressure rises like steam from boiling water, the choice to remain composed is not born from lack of emotion. It is born from mastery. It takes strength to hold back when everything inside you wants to explode. It takes wisdom to know that not every moment of stress requires a reaction. And it takes grace to move through difficulty without leaving a trail of damage behind you. The world often teaches us that strength must look hard, that we must clench our fists, raise our voices, wear our stress like a badge to prove how much we carry. But the calm warrior understands a deeper kind of strength, one that lives in the quiet moments. The kind that bends without breaking, the kind that breathes through chaos and walks away with dignity still intact. Grace under pressure does not mean you feel nothing. It means you feel everything and still choose the higher road. This grace is not for show. It is not a mask to hide your pain. It is a practice, a discipline, a decision to hold yourself with care even when life does not. The calm warrior is not untouched by stress. They are not strangers to pain. They simply do not let pressure dictate their actions. They understand that composure is not passive, it is powerful. It is the difference between reacting to the fire and learning to walk through it without being consumed. When people push your limits, when days stretch long and full of weight, when your heart feels tight and your patience thin, grace is the thread that holds you together. It is not weakness to soften your tone when others raise theirs. It is not weakness to listen when others only speak. It is not weakness to walk away from conflict that leads nowhere. It is strength. It is direction. It is dignity. The calm warrior has learned that stress will always come. Situations will arise that challenge your calm. But if you carry grace like a steady flame, you will not lose yourself in the heat. You will remember who you are. You will act not out of fear or frustration, but out of truth. You will show others and yourself that the most powerful response is often the quietest one. So when you find yourself in the middle of pressure, when you are stretched thin and the weight feels personal, choose grace. Hold it like a shield. Walk with it like armor. Let it speak through your silence and move through your actions. This is how the calm warrior lives, not untouched by life's trials, but unshaken by them. In a world that often measures strength by volume and speed, the calm warrior shows us a different path, one paved with stillness, intention, and unshakable inner grace. True power does not shout, it listens, it does not rush, it chooses, it does not crumble under stress, it rises quietly with dignity as its compass and peace as its pride. You have within you the strength to pause when others panic, to respond when others react, and to walk forward with purpose even when the road is uncertain. Guard your peace, hold your dignity, trust your direction, and carry grace like a silent light in dark places. May you rise each day with calm in your heart and wisdom in your step. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for listening. Dear friends, there is a truth that cannot be denied. Life will place weights upon your shoulders. Life will test the rhythm of your heart. Life will press against your spirit and dare you to fall. But you and I know that strength is not born in the sunshine. It is born in the storm. It is born when the night is long and you are tempted to give up. It is born when the voice inside whispers to stop and you answer back with courage. Mental strength is a muscle. It is not gifted. It is not purchased. It is built. And it is built in the quiet corners of each day. It is built when you wake and choose gratitude instead of complaint. It is built when you rise after failure and walk again. It is built when you keep your word to yourself, when you honor your dreams with discipline, when you speak life to your own weary soul. Every small decision is a weight lifted. Every act of resilience is a repetition. Every moment of endurance is training for the spirit. So do not wait for strength to suddenly arrive. Do not hope for courage to simply appear. You must practice it. You must build it as a sculptor builds form out of stone, with patience, with persistence, with the knowledge that each day offers a chance to grow. The world may say you are not ready. The world may call you weak. But remember, no one sees the seed before it becomes the tree. No one hears the music before it is sung. Your strength may be unseen today, but it is being formed inside you, layer upon layer, moment upon moment. Mental strength is not hardness. It is not closing yourself away from pain. It is the openness to endure it and still keep faith. It is the choice to forgive when bitterness wants to stay. It is the courage to try when fear shouts no. It is the grace to fall and yet stand taller the next time. And the beauty of it all is that you do not need a grand arena to build it. You build it while standing in the line with patience. You build it when listening instead of shouting. You build it when choosing peace over chaos. Mental strength grows through consistency, not convenience. So commit to small daily acts of resilience. That truth alone holds the weight of transformation. Too many of us wait for perfect conditions before we decide to become stronger. We think we will build our character when life finally settles down. We believe we will stand tall when circumstances allow us to rest. But the truth is, strength is not born in comfort. It is not born in the easy hours. It is built in the moments when we are tested and choose to respond with discipline rather than ease. It is built in the quiet repetitions of daily practice, when no one is watching and no applause is waiting. Consistency is the soil in which mental strength takes root. Every time you wake and choose to honor your commitments, you are adding another layer of strength. Every time you choose to walk forward when it would be easier to stand still, you are training your mind. The journey is not about grand victories that arrive in bursts of inspiration. It is about steady choices, the daily lifting of inner weights that may feel invisible but are shaping your spirit. Convenience will whisper to you that skipping today will not matter, but strength is not built by skipping. It is built by showing up for yourself again and again. Think of the body. Muscles do not grow after one day at the gym. They grow after repeated effort, after days and months of consistent practice. The same is true for the mind. If you only practice resilience when life demands it, you will never be ready for the greater storms. But if you build it daily, if you condition your heart to endure the small trials, then when the heavy trials come, you will find yourself stronger than you knew. Consistency is the quiet teacher that prepares you for the moments you thought you could not survive. There is no shortcut to building strength. Convenience offers shortcuts, but those paths crumble when tested. The true path is walked each day through the simple decisions you make. It is in the choice to rise when your bed calls you to stay. It is in the choice to remain calm when frustration tries to take hold. It is in the choice to keep promises even when no one else will ever know if you broke them. These small acts become a foundation, and over time that foundation becomes unshakable. Convenience will tempt you to stop, to choose what is easy, to step back when life presses forward. But every time you choose consistency instead, you are writing a different story for yourself. You are declaring to the world and to your own soul that you are not controlled by passing moods or fleeting desires. You are stronger than that. You are disciplined enough to keep moving, and in that discipline lies freedom. For when you have trained your mind to be strong through daily practice, you are no longer bound by fear, no longer broken by setbacks, no longer shaken by the noise around you. Consistency may not look heroic in the moment. No one claps when you choose patience. No one celebrates when you keep faith. But those small victories matter more than you know. They are invisible bricks stacked one upon another, building the fortress of your spirit. And when the winds blow, that fortress will not fall. Others may wonder how you endure, how you rise, how you remain steady. The answer will not be found in sudden bursts of courage, but in the daily acts of resilience that built your strength long before the storm arrived. So trust the process. Trust the slow growth that comes from daily commitment. Strength is not a gift. It is not a lucky chance. It is the reward of those who choose consistency over convenience. Build it today. Build it tomorrow. Build it until it becomes who you are. Every challenge is a weight to lift, and each lift makes your inner muscle stronger. That is the way life shapes us. We are not given strength without effort. We are not gifted resilience without trial. Just as the body must press against resistance to grow, the mind must face obstacles to become unshakable. Each challenge that enters your path is not a punishment, but a tool, a piece of training crafted to shape you into the person you are meant to be. When life lays a burden upon you, you have two choices. You can see it as something unfair, something designed to break you, or you can see it as a weight you are invited to lift. The weight may be heavy. It may stretch you to the very edge of your ability. It may even bring you to your knees. But the moment you choose to lift, to push against it, to rise even while trembling, something happens inside of you. A new strength begins to form. A new capacity begins to grow. And with each repetition, with each challenge endured, the inner muscle of resilience becomes stronger. We must learn to stop fearing challenges as if they are walls meant to block us. They are not walls, they are stepping stones. They are not curses. They are the very curriculum of growth. Think of every hardship you have faced in the past. At the time, it felt unbearable. At the time, you doubted you could survive, but you did. And looking back, you can see how it changed you, how it gave you wisdom, how it deepened your understanding. That is what challenges do. They carve us, refine us, stretch us beyond the limits we once believed were unbreakable. If the bodybuilder never lifted weight, the muscle would remain weak. If the runner never faced the miles, endurance would never be born. In the same way, if the spirit never meets resistance, mental strength will not exist. So when the test arrives, when the setback strikes, when the path becomes hard, let your heart whisper, "This is the weight I must lift." Because every lift is growth. Every push builds strength. Every obstacle teaches you who you really are. The beauty of it all is that you do not need to face enormous battles to grow. Even the small challenges count. Waking early when you want to stay in bed. Holding your tongue when anger rises. Staying committed when distractions call you away. These are weights too. They may not seem heavy, but lifting them builds strength just the same. And the more you lift the small weights, the more prepared you are when life hands you the heavy ones. There will be days when the weight feels impossible, when every ounce of you wants to lay it down. That is the very moment you must remember that growth never comes without resistance. The pain of lifting is temporary. The strength it gives you lasts a lifetime. And every time you carry something you thought you could not bear, you discover a deeper well inside of you. You discover that you are stronger than you once believed. Challenges do not come to humiliate you. They come to elevate you. They are not here to shrink you. They are here to expand you. Each difficulty is not the end of your story, but a new chapter, one that will reveal your resilience if you dare to keep turning the page. You cannot control the weights life gives you, but you can control how you lift them. You can control how you grow through them, and you can choose to see each one as a sacred chance to train the muscle of the mind. So the next time life places a challenge before you, do not run from it. Do not curse it. Do not fear it. Stand firm and lift it. Let it stretch you. Let it shape you. Let it make you strong. Because every challenge is a weight to lift, and each lift makes your inner muscle stronger. Discipline is the training ground where strength is shaped and character is defined. Without discipline, even the greatest potential remains unused. We all carry within us the possibility to rise, to endure, to shine, but possibility without practice fades into nothing. It is discipline that bridges the gap between who we are today and who we are capable of becoming. It is the steady rhythm of daily effort that sculpts the raw material of our spirit into resilience and power. Discipline is not about punishment. It is not about living a joyless life. It is about order. It is about choosing what matters most over what feels good for only a moment. It is the art of showing up when the world says you can rest. It is the decision to keep walking even when no one notices. It is the silent agreement you make with yourself that you will not quit on your own promise. Mental strength is not born out of chaos. It is born out of the quiet discipline of keeping faith with yourself. When you train the body, discipline teaches you to push past fatigue, to stretch beyond limits. When you train the mind, discipline teaches you to focus, to resist the pull of distraction, to keep going when your emotions urge you to stop. Discipline may feel heavy in the moment, but it is lighter than the weight of regret. For regret asks, what if you had tried harder? What if you had remained consistent? What if you had not quit? Discipline saves you from that haunting voice because discipline ensures you gave your best. Many people wait for motivation, believing they can only act when inspiration strikes. But motivation is fleeting. It rises and falls like the wind. Discipline, however, is steady. It does not wait for inspiration. It does not bend to moods. It acts because it knows action shapes character. If you rely on motivation, you will move sometimes. If you rely on discipline, you will move always. And with each consistent step, mental strength grows unshaken by circumstance or fleeting feelings. Every choice is a test of discipline. When you choose patience over reaction, you practice it. When you choose truth over convenience, you practice it. When you choose to complete the task rather than abandon it halfway, you practice it. These moments may seem small, but they define you. They are the daily training ground where strength is forged. The world may never see the battles you fight within yourself, but those victories matter most. They are the quiet proof of discipline, shaping you into someone who cannot be easily moved. The path of discipline is not always celebrated. In fact, it is often lonely. While others may choose ease, you choose effort. While others may give in, you stand firm. While others may scatter their energy, you focus yours. And in time, when the storm arrives and others fall, you will stand not because you were lucky, but because you were trained. Discipline had already prepared you to carry the weight. It had already carved into you the strength needed for the hardest of days. Discipline also reveals character. It shows who you are when no one is watching. It shows whether you honor your own word or break it when life becomes difficult. A strong mind is not built on grand speeches or loud declarations, but on quiet consistency. On the mornings when you rise, even though you are tired. On the nights when you push through, even though you are weary. These acts of discipline define the person you are becoming, and with every decision, you are either strengthening or weakening the muscle of the mind. There is freedom in discipline. Freedom to know that no matter what comes, you are prepared. Freedom to know you have control over your choices even when life feels uncontrollable. Freedom to stand steady in a world that wavers. Mental strength is the gift discipline gives, but only to those who are willing to pay the price of consistency. So let discipline be your training ground. Let it shape you when convenience tempts you. Let it define your character when life tests you. And let it be the steady force that turns your potential into power. Because discipline is the training ground where strength is shaped and character is defined. True power is not avoiding pain, but learning to endure and rise through it. Many people believe strength means a life free from hardship, a path untouched by sorrow, a journey without wounds. But life does not work that way. Pain is woven into the very fabric of existence. Loss, disappointment, rejection, failure. They are part of the human story. The measure of a strong mind is not whether it avoids these chapters, but how it turns those chapters into lessons, how it keeps walking even when the road is broken beneath its feet. Avoiding pain may feel safe, but safety does not build strength. When you shield yourself from every challenge, you also shield yourself from growth. The butterfly does not gain wings without the struggle of breaking free from the cocoon. The seed does not become a tree without pushing through the dark soil. In the same way, you cannot discover your own depth without walking through pain. It is in enduring that you learn what you are truly made of. It is in rising after being knocked down that you uncover the power you never knew you had. There is a quiet dignity in facing pain and not letting it define you. To endure is not to deny your hurt, nor is it to pretend that suffering is easy. To endure is to acknowledge the ache, to honor your tears, but still to take the next step. Endurance says, this wound is real, but it will not end me. This sorrow is heavy, but I will carry it until it grows lighter. This fall is painful, but I will stand again. That is where power lies, not in escaping the fire, but in walking through it without losing your soul. Many believe strength is about hardness, about never showing weakness. But true power is different. True power allows you to bend without breaking. It allows you to feel without surrendering. It allows you to face storms, cry through them if you must, and yet not let the storm own you. It is endurance that builds this kind of power. Endurance does not silence the pain. It teaches you to move with it until you rise beyond it. Think of the times in your life when pain seemed unbearable. At first, you may have thought it was the end. Yet with time, with courage, with small steps of endurance, you came through. You discovered a new strength within you. And though the scar may remain, it became a reminder not of your weakness, but of your ability to survive. Every scar is proof that you endured, that you rose, that you kept moving when you had every reason to stop. Pain can be a teacher if we allow it. It teaches patience, for healing is never instant. It teaches compassion, for when you have suffered, you understand the suffering of others more deeply. It teaches resilience, for each time you endure, you are stronger for the next challenge. Pain may try to break you, but if you choose to rise, it becomes the very tool that shapes you. Without pain, your strength would remain untested. With pain, your strength becomes undeniable. To avoid pain is to avoid life itself. To endure it is to embrace the fullness of living. And to rise through it is to claim victory over the very thing that tried to defeat you. Do not fear pain when it arrives. Do not hide from it. Face it with courage. Endure it with patience. Rise from it with grace. For this is where true power is found. Because true power is not avoiding pain, but learning to endure and rise through it. Mental strength is built in silence when you keep promises only you will know. There is a sacredness in those quiet moments when no one is watching, when no applause is waiting, and when no one will ever know whether you followed through or not. These are the places where true strength is born, not in the loud arenas of recognition, but in the still corners of discipline. When you tell yourself you will rise early and you do, even if no one sees it, you grow. When you whisper to your heart that you will not give up today, and you honor that whisper, you build the unseen muscle of resilience. It is easy to keep promises when the world holds you accountable. It is easy to do the right thing when people are watching. But the real test comes when you stand alone, when the only voice to answer to is your own. In those silent spaces, the strength of your character is revealed. Do you honor your word, or do you break it because no one will ever know? Mental strength is forged in that choice. Each time you choose truth over convenience, each time you keep faith with yourself, you are shaping a mind that cannot be shaken. The world often praises visible victories, but the invisible ones matter more. No one may celebrate when you resist the temptation to quit. No one may notice when you stay disciplined in the quiet hours of the night. No one may applaud when you finish what you promised yourself you would do. But those small victories build you in ways that cannot be undone. They create a confidence that does not rely on others. They create an inner trust that becomes unbreakable. For when you can trust yourself to keep your own word, you carry a strength that no one can take from you. The silence of discipline is often the heaviest silence. It is where excuses grow loud, where comfort tempts you, where the easy path calls your name. Yet when you choose to honor your promise in that silence, you gain something more valuable than comfort. You gain integrity. You gain self-respect. You gain a strength that becomes your foundation. It is not about being perfect, it is about being consistent. Each small act of self-respect builds a fortress of resilience within you. Mental strength is not only about facing storms and carrying burdens. It is about mastering yourself in the quiet, ordinary hours. It is about refusing to betray your own word. Because once you break trust with yourself, you weaken the very muscle you are trying to build. But when you keep faith, even in the smallest things, you grow into someone unshakable. A person who has learned to conquer themselves cannot be conquered by the world. There is a freedom in keeping promises no one else will ever know. It frees you from seeking validation. It frees you from the need for constant recognition. It roots your strength in something deeper, something no one else controls. You do not need the world to approve of you because you know within yourself that you are strong, consistent, and faithful to your own word. That kind of strength cannot be faked. It is not borrowed from others. It is yours alone. So honor the silent promises. Keep faith with the commitments that only your own heart has heard. Train yourself in those quiet spaces because they are the true battlegrounds where strength is formed. When you can trust yourself there, you can trust yourself anywhere. And when you trust yourself anywhere, nothing in the world can shake you. Because mental strength is built in silence when you keep promises only you will know. Courage is the repetition that forges strength, and repetition is the path to mastery. One act of courage may lift you for a moment, but it is the daily decision to face fear again and again that makes you truly strong. Mental strength is not created by one bold choice alone. It is built in the rhythm of repeated courage. Every time you choose to step forward when hesitation calls you back, you add another layer of resilience to your soul. Every time you act with bravery, no matter how small, you are training your inner muscle to endure, to trust, to rise. We often think courage must be grand, a leap into the unknown, a loud declaration, a heroic act that others can see. But the truest courage is quiet. It is the repetition of showing up when you would rather hide. It is the willingness to keep trying after you have failed. It is the steady practice of confronting fear until fear loses its grip. Repetition teaches your spirit that fear is not final. Each time you face it, you weaken its hold and strengthen your own resolve. The mind learns through patterns. Just as muscles grow by lifting weight again and again, courage grows by repetition. You cannot build strength by standing still, and you cannot build courage by waiting until you feel ready. You grow by doing, by stepping, by repeating the act of bravery even when your heart trembles. With each repetition, courage becomes less of a visitor and more of a resident in your life. It becomes a habit. It becomes part of who you are. Repetition does not mean life will grow easier. It means you will grow stronger. The fears may remain, but your ability to face them will change. The doubts may still whisper, but their voice will not control you. Because through repeated courage, you will have proven to yourself that you can act in the presence of fear. That is the very essence of mental strength, not the absence of fear, but the refusal to be ruled by it. Think of a child learning to walk. The first steps are shaky, uncertain, and often end in falls. Yet with repetition, the child grows steady. In time, what once seemed impossible becomes natural. The same is true with courage. At first it feels overwhelming, but with practice, it becomes second nature. You learn to rise quickly after failure, to step forward even when afraid, to trust that you are stronger than you feel. Each repetition rewires the mind, reshapes the spirit, and builds the muscle of resilience. There is beauty in this process, for repetition does not only build courage, it builds mastery. You become not only someone who can face fear, but someone who knows how to channel it into strength. You learn the rhythm of resilience. You learn that every fall is an opportunity to rise. Every hesitation is a chance to act. Every setback is an invitation to practice courage once more. Mastery is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about choosing courage enough times that it becomes who you are, not just what you do. Courage repeated daily is like drops of water carving stone. At first the change is invisible, but over time it shapes your entire being. The fears that once held you prisoner no longer have the same power. The doubts that once silenced you lose their sting. And when larger storms come, you stand firm because courage has already been built into your foundation through countless small acts of bravery. So do not wait for courage to appear fully formed. Build it through repetition. Face the small fears so you will be ready for the great ones. Practice courage until it becomes a habit. Let repetition forge strength in you until mastery is born. And remember, courage is not a single spark, but the steady flame that grows brighter each time you choose it. Because courage is the repetition that forges strength, and repetition is the path to mastery. Strength does not arrive fully formed. It is crafted day by day until it becomes who you are. Too often, we look at those who seem unshakable and believe they were born that way, as if resilience is a gift given to a chosen few. But the truth is, strength is not an inheritance, it is a creation. It is the result of choices, of habits, of steady growth that comes from refusing to quit. No one wakes up suddenly unbreakable. Strength is shaped like clay, pressed and molded by every experience, every challenge, every decision to rise instead of retreat. The world teaches us to admire the final result, but what truly matters is the process. A mountain does not form in an instant. It rises layer upon layer, year after year. In the same way, your inner strength is built one day at a time. Each morning you rise despite fatigue, each promise you keep, each fear you confront, each burden you carry. These moments accumulate until they become part of you. What once was effort turns into instinct, and what once felt impossible becomes natural. That is the hidden power of daily growth. Patience is essential in this journey. Too many abandon the path because they expect immediate transformation. They expect strength to announce itself in loud victories, forgetting that true strength speaks quietly through consistency. It is not about becoming unshakable in a week or a month. It is about becoming a little stronger today than you were yesterday. Small progress compounds over time until the person who once doubted themselves becomes the person others look to for courage. Every fall, every failure, every moment of struggle is not wasted. They are the very tools shaping you. Strength does not grow in perfection, it grows in imperfection, in the days you stumble and still choose to try again. Think of the tree standing tall in the storm. It did not grow strong because life was easy. It grew strong because the winds tested it, because the rains beat upon it, because the seasons shaped its roots. In the same way, your strength is not diminished by hardship, it is born through it. As days pass, the changes within you may feel invisible, but they are there. Just as the sun rises a little earlier each morning in spring until the world is suddenly filled with light, so too does your strength expand gradually until one day you notice it has become part of who you are. You may not see the transformation daily, but others will. They will notice your calm in the storm, your steadiness under pressure, your quiet courage in moments of fear. That is when you realize strength has become your nature, not just your effort. Strength is not about having control over everything, it is about having control over yourself. It is about knowing that no matter what life brings, you can trust your ability to endure. This trust does not appear suddenly. It is built slowly through the repeated choice to stay, to fight, to believe, to rise. Day after day, you teach yourself that you are stronger than the difficulty before you. And eventually, this belief becomes unshakable. It becomes a part of your very being. There is a quiet peace that comes when strength becomes who you are. You no longer seek to prove yourself to others. You no longer fear every storm. You stand steady not because life is easy, but because you have built the resilience to withstand it. You have become someone whose strength is not borrowed, not temporary, not uncertain, but rooted, lasting, and real. And it all began with small choices repeated over time. So trust the process of daily growth. Do not rush the journey. Let each day add its layer. Let each trial shape you. Let each step build upon the last. In time, you will not just have strength, you will be strength. Because strength does not arrive fully formed. It is crafted day by day until it becomes who you are. Strength of the mind is not a sudden gift, but a steady building, a daily shaping, a quiet practice of resilience that turns into power. We have seen that consistency keeps us anchored, challenges become the weights that grow us, discipline defines our character, endurance turns pain into wisdom, silent promises build integrity, courage repeated becomes mastery, and daily growth transforms us until strength is no longer what we do but who we are. This journey is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is about choosing again and again to rise, to keep faith, to keep building. And in that choice, greatness is born. So as you step forward from here, may you build your strength each day. May you honor your promises. May you carry courage in repetition. And may you trust the slow and steady process of becoming. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for listening. My dear brothers and sisters, let us gather ourselves in the light of truth. For today we talk about something as old as time, as strong as love, as necessary as breath. The art of effective communication. Words, my friends, are more than just sound. They are spirit. They are power. They can lift a weary soul or break a hopeful heart. They can build a bridge between strangers or dig a canyon between kin. They can stir a revolution or quiet a storm. But to communicate truly, to reach into the marrow of another's spirit and make them see, make them feel, make them understand, you must first listen. You must listen not just with your ears, but with your heart, with your soul, with your patience. Because people do not always say what they mean, and they do not always mean what they say. Sometimes They are too afraid. Sometimes they are too hurt, and sometimes they are just waiting for someone to hear the words they never spoke. My dear brothers and sisters, I stand before you today with a truth that is as undeniable as the rising sun. Words have power. They carry weight. They shape minds. They mold hearts. They can heal wounds or deepen them. They can stir love or ignite fury. They can lift a person to the highest heights or bury them in the depths of despair. And if we are to master the art of effective communication, we must first learn to master the words that spill from our lips. A word once spoken cannot be undone. It cannot be taken back. It cannot be erased. It lingers in the mind. It echoes in the heart. It settles in the soul. Have you ever been caught in the storm of careless words? Have you ever felt the sting of a sentence thrown without thought? The weight of a phrase never meant to harm, but cutting nonetheless? But have you also known the warmth of words spoken with love? The embrace of a sentence so gentle it mended what was broken? The reassurance of a voice that lifted you when you felt small? That, my friends, is the power of words. When we speak, we must speak with purpose. We must understand that our words are seeds, and whatever we plant will grow. Speak bitterness, and bitterness will spread. Speak kindness, and kindness will bloom. If you wish to build, then speak life into the people around you. If you wish to uplift, then let your words be a balm to the weary. If you wish to lead, then let your words be a beacon of wisdom. Because the way you use your voice will shape not only the world around you, but the spirit within you. But let me tell you, my friends, true communication is not just about what is spoken, it is about how it is spoken. It is the difference between a whisper and a shout, between a soft truth and a harsh criticism, between a word spoken with love and a word spoken with pride. The same sentence can bring peace or start a war, depending on the tone in which it is delivered. So before you speak, ask yourself, is my voice carrying love? Is my voice bringing clarity? Is my voice a bridge or a barricade? And let us not forget, dear ones, that the most powerful words are not always the loudest. Sometimes it is the gentle assurance that makes the deepest impact. Sometimes it is the quiet wisdom that lingers the longest. And sometimes it is the absence of harsh words that carries the greatest strength. The person who speaks with thoughtfulness, with patience, with kindness, they are the ones whose words are remembered, whose voices carry through generations. We must also be mindful of the words we tell ourselves, for communication is not only between people, it is within us too. What do you whisper to yourself in the still of the night? What names do you call yourself when no one is listening? Do you lift your own spirit, or do you burden it with doubt and fear? Be as gentle with yourself as you would be with a friend. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you offer to others, because the way we communicate with ourselves shapes the way we communicate with the world. My dear ones, the tongue is small, yet it can move mountains. It can soothe a breaking heart or shatter a hopeful soul. It is not enough to merely speak, we must speak wisely. It is not enough to merely hear, we must truly listen. And it is not enough to merely communicate, we must connect. Because at the heart of every word we say, there should be understanding, there should be intention, there should be love. So the next time you open your mouth to speak, pause for just a moment. Choose words that build, not break. Words that heal, not hurt. Words that bridge, not divide. Because your words, my friends, have power, and may they always be used to uplift. My dear brothers and sisters, if words are powerful, then listening is sacred. Too often we think communication is about speaking, about finding the right words, about making our voices heard. But true communication begins in silence. It begins when we stop, when we open not just our ears, but our hearts, When we listen not just to respond, but to truly understand. How many times have we sat in a conversation, nodding politely, all while our minds raced ahead, crafting a response before the other person had even finished? How often do we hear the words but miss the meaning? We live in a world full of noise. Voices clashing, opinions colliding, everyone wanting to be heard, yet so few willing to listen. And in that rush to be right, to be loud, to be first, we lose something precious. We lose connection, we lose understanding, we lose each other. Listening, my friends, is not a passive act. It is not waiting for your turn to speak. It is an act of love, an act of patience, an act of respect. It is sitting with someone, not just beside them, but with them. It is leaning in. It is feeling the weight of their words. It is hearing not just the sound of their voice, but the emotions carried within it. A person may speak with confidence, yet be drowning in doubt. They may say they are fine, yet be holding back a storm. But you will never know unless you truly listen. And when you listen, listen with your whole being. Listen with your eyes, for the unsaid words are written on the face. Listen with your heart, for emotions speak louder than sentences. Listen with your silence, for sometimes the greatest comfort is simply being present. Because when people feel heard, they feel valued. And when they feel valued, they open up. And when they open up, real communication begins. But let us not forget, my dear ones, that listening is not just about hearing others. Too often we silence our own voices. We ignore our own hearts. We push aside our own truth. We rush through life, drowning in the expectations of others, never stopping to ask, what is my soul trying to tell me? What does my heart need? What is the voice within me whispering? There is wisdom in the quiet. There is clarity in stillness. But you must be willing to listen. Listening is a gift both to others and to ourselves. It is the foundation of understanding, the root of empathy, the bridge to real connection. It is in listening that we learn, that we grow, that we truly communicate. So the next time you find yourself in conversation, slow down. Look into the eyes of the person speaking. Let their words settle before you form your reply. Hear not just their sentences, but their silence. And when you listen, do so not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because in a world that is always talking, the ones who truly listen are the ones who are truly heard. My dear brothers and sisters, when we speak, we do more than string words together. We reveal who we are. Our words hold the weight of our thoughts, the depth of our emotions, and the truth of our character. And if we are to master the art of communication, we must learn to speak with clarity, courage, and compassion. Too often, words are thrown carelessly into the world like leaves in the wind, uncertain, unfocused, and lost before they find a place to land. But words with purpose, words with clarity, they do not drift, they stand firm, they carry weight, they are understood. To speak with clarity means to know what you want to say before you say it. It means choosing words that illuminate rather than confuse, words that guide rather than mislead. It means speaking so that your message is not only heard, but felt, not only received, but understood. Because what good are words if they do not reach the heart they were meant for? But my friends, clarity alone is not enough. For what use is a clear voice if it trembles in fear? What power does truth hold if it hides in silence? To truly communicate, we must speak with courage. The courage to say what is right, even when it is not easy. The courage to stand in truth, even when it shakes the ground beneath us. The courage to let our voices rise, not in anger, not in pride, but in unwavering honesty. Fear silences too many voices. It keeps truth locked behind trembling lips. It lets misunderstanding grow in the spaces where words should have been. But a voice that dares to speak, that dares to be real, that dares to tell the truth, oh, that is a voice that cannot be ignored. And yet, my dear ones, truth without compassion is a blade with no handle. It cuts, it wounds, it destroys. We must speak not just with clarity and courage, but with kindness. Words spoken without love become arrows aimed at the heart. They leave bruises where there should be understanding. But words wrapped in kindness, words shaped with care, they build, they heal, they unite. Speaking with compassion does not mean we soften the truth. It means we deliver it with grace. It means we remember that words can lift as easily as they can crush. It means we understand that people do not just hear our words, they feel them. And what we make them feel will be remembered long after our words have faded. So let us be mindful, my friends. Let us speak with intention. Let us be clear so that we are understood, brave so that we are heard, kind so that we are welcomed. Because the way we speak shapes the world around us. And a voice that carries clarity, courage, and compassion, oh, that is a voice worth listening to. My dear brothers and sisters, in a world that never stops talking, silence is often misunderstood. People fear it, avoid it, rush to fill it. But silence, when used wisely, is not empty. It is not weakness. It is not absence. Silence is a language of its own, a voice that speaks without sound, a presence that carries weight without words. It is a tool, a bridge, a power that, when embraced, can transform the way we communicate. Too often, we believe that the one who speaks the most speaks the best, that the loudest voice is the one that wins. But true wisdom knows better. It knows that silence is not about saying nothing. It is about knowing when nothing needs to be said. There is a time to speak, yes, but there is also a time to listen, a time to pause, a time to let words settle before rushing to respond. For in that space, in that quiet, understanding has a chance to grow. Think of the moments when silence spoke louder than words ever could, when a simple glance carried more meaning than a long speech, when a quiet moment between two people said everything that needed to be said, when a pause in a conversation allowed emotions to be felt, not just spoken. There is wisdom in knowing that sometimes words can only go so far. And beyond them, silence takes over, carrying with it a truth that needs no explanation. And yet we must also recognize the power of silence in conflict. When emotions run high, when anger fills the air, silence can be the difference between destruction and understanding. It gives space for thought instead of reaction, for reflection instead of regret. It is not surrender, it is strength. It is the wisdom to know that not every battle is won with words, and that sometimes the greatest act of communication is choosing not to speak until the heart has found its peace. Silence is also the birthplace of clarity. In the stillness, we hear what is often drowned out by noise, the voice of our own thoughts, the whispers of our intuition, the truths we ignore when we are too busy talking. When we step away from the constant chatter of the world, we find ourselves. We find the words that truly matter. We find the courage to speak them with purpose. So, my dear ones, do not fear silence. Do not rush to fill it. Do not mistake it for weakness. Instead, embrace it, use it, understand it. Let it be your ally, your teacher, your guide. For the one who knows how to be silent when needed speaks with greater power when the time comes. Communication is more than just the exchange of words. It is more than sentences strung together, more than voices echoing in a room. True communication is about connection, the meeting of minds, the bridging of hearts, the reaching of one soul to another. And until we understand this, until we embrace it, we will continue to talk, but never truly be heard. How many conversations have we had where words were spoken, yet nothing was understood? How often have we said the right things, yet still felt distant? How many times have we listened to someone, but only with our ears and not with our hearts? Because, my dear ones, communication is not just about speaking, it is about connecting. It is about ensuring that the message we send is the message that is received. It is about making people feel seen, feel heard, feel valued. To communicate effectively, we must first seek to understand, not just to be understood. Too often, we approach conversations with our own thoughts at the forefront, eager to make our point, to prove our side, to be right. But what if we shifted our focus? What if, instead of speaking to reply, we spoke to relate? What if, instead of listening to argue, we listened to understand? The moment we do this, we move from just hearing words to truly feeling the person behind them. And that, my friends, is where real communication begins. But to connect, we must also be present. How many times do we speak while distracted? How often do we nod along while our minds wander? How many conversations do we have while our eyes are glued to a screen, our attention divided? True communication demands presence. It demands that we show up fully, not just in body, but in mind, in heart, in spirit. Because people can feel when they are truly being heard, and they can sense when they are merely being tolerated. A conversation without presence is just noise. But a conversation with presence, that is a moment of real connection. And let us not forget, dear ones, that connection is built not just in what we say, but in how we say it. A word spoken with warmth reaches farther than a word spoken with cold precision. A message delivered with sincerity holds more weight than one spoken out of habit. The tone of our voice, the expression in our eyes, the openness of our posture, these all shape the way our words are received. A message wrapped in love and patience and respect is a message that lingers long after the words have faded. So let us remember that communication is not just about the mechanics of speaking and listening. It is about the spirit behind them. It is about intention. It is about connection, because in the end, people may forget what we said, but they will never forget how we made them feel. My dear brothers and sisters, in the grand dance of communication, there are two forces that shape every exchange: respect and empathy. Without them, words become empty, conversations turn into battlegrounds, and understanding slips through our fingers like sand. But with them, communication becomes a bridge, a sanctuary, a force that unites rather than divides. Too often, we speak without truly seeing the person in front of us. We hear their words, but we do not hear their heart. We listen, but only through the filter of our own thoughts, our own experiences, our own beliefs, and in doing so, we build walls where there should be windows. Because to truly communicate, we must go beyond our own perspective. We must step into the shoes of another, even if just for a moment, and see the world through their eyes. That is where understanding begins. That is where connection is made. Respect, my friends, is the foundation of all meaningful communication. It is the quiet force that shapes how we speak and how we listen. It is knowing that every person we encounter carries a world of experiences, of struggles, of dreams, and treating that world with care. It is recognizing that every voice, no matter how different from our own, has value. It is the patience to listen, the humility to learn, and the wisdom to know that we do not always have to agree to understand. But respect alone is not enough. It must be paired with empathy, the ability to feel what another feels, to understand not just with our minds, but with our hearts. Empathy allows us to read between the lines, to hear the unspoken words, to recognize when silence is carrying more weight than speech. It teaches us that sometimes people do not need advice, they need to be heard. That sometimes what they seek is not a solution, but a presence, a reassurance that they are not alone in their thoughts, in their struggles, in their emotions. And yet, my dear ones, respect and empathy are not just about how we treat others. They are also about how we allow ourselves to be treated. To communicate with dignity, we must know our own worth. We must understand that our voices matter, that our feelings are valid, that we deserve to be heard just as much as we listen. Because communication is a two-way street, and a bridge built on respect and empathy must stand firm on both sides. So let us make a choice each day in every conversation to speak with respect, to listen with empathy, to approach every exchange with the intention of truly understanding. Because when we do more than just communicate. We connect, we heal, we bring light where there was once only misunderstanding. And that, my friends, is the true power of communication. Communication is not just about the words we speak in the moment. It is not just about the conversations we have today or the messages we deliver in passing. True communication, the kind that transforms, the kind that lingers in hearts and minds long after the words are spoken, is built on consistency and authenticity. It is not a single act, but a way of being, a reflection of who we are, of what we believe, of the truth we carry within us. Too often we see words used as temporary tools, as performances crafted to suit the moment, as masks worn to gain favor, approval, or advantage. But words without sincerity, without integrity, without consistency lose their power. They may impress for a moment, but they do not last. Because people do not just hear our words, they watch our actions. They do not just listen to what we say, they observe how we live. And when our words do not align with our actions, when what we say and what we do stand in opposition, trust begins to crumble. Trust, my dear ones, is the foundation of all meaningful communication. It is the invisible thread that connects people, that makes words matter, that turns conversations into something real, something lasting. And trust is not built in a single conversation. It is built over time, through every exchange, in the spaces between words, in the moments when we choose honesty over convenience, when we choose to mean what we say and say what we mean. A person who speaks truthfully, who communicates with integrity, who remains consistent in their words and actions, becomes a voice that people can rely on. But authenticity, my friends, is more than just honesty. It is the courage to be real, to speak from the heart, to let our words reflect who we truly are. In a world that often encourages us to say what is expected, to mold our voices to fit in, to soften or harden our truth depending on the audience, authenticity is a rare and powerful gift. When we speak authentically, we give others permission to do the same. When we communicate with openness, we create spaces where others feel safe to share their own truth. And in those spaces, real connection is formed. Yet, authenticity does not mean speaking without care. It does not mean using honesty as a weapon, saying whatever we please without regard for how it is received. Authenticity must be guided by wisdom, shaped by kindness, balanced with respect. It is about finding the courage to speak truthfully while also having the heart to speak thoughtfully. Because true communication is not just about self-expression. It is about connection. It is about building bridges, not burning them. And so, my dear ones, let us strive for consistency in our words, for truth in our communication, for authenticity in every exchange. Let us be the kind of people whose words are trusted, whose voices are steady, whose messages carry weight because they are real, because they are true, because they reflect the deepest parts of who we are. For in the end, the way we communicate is not just about what we say, it is about the legacy we leave behind. My dear brothers and sisters, the art of effective communication is not just about words. It is about presence, about connection, about understanding. It is about listening with an open heart, speaking with clarity and courage, embracing silence when it is needed, and ensuring that every word we share carries the weight of respect and empathy. It is about being true to ourselves, consistent in our message, and intentional in the way we express our thoughts and feelings. When we master this art, we do more than just speak, we inspire. We do more than just listen, we understand. We do more than just communicate, we connect. We heal. We build bridges that bring people together instead of walls that keep them apart. So let us move forward with the wisdom to listen deeply, the strength to speak truthfully, and the heart to communicate with love. Let our words be a force for good, our voices be a beacon of clarity, and our presence be a source of comfort to those who need it. Because when we communicate with purpose, with kindness, with authenticity, we do more than just share ideas, we change lives. I wish you all the strength to speak boldly, the patience to listen deeply, and the wisdom to know when silence speaks louder than words. May your conversations be filled with meaning, your words bring light to others, and your voice always carry the power of truth and love. Good luck on your journey of mastering this art, and may every exchange you have be filled with warmth and understanding. Thank you, and may your words always be a gift to those who hear them,